IVM.
Hey guys, welcome to the Positively Unlimited podcast. Today I'm talking about yet another slightly intense topic, but it's something that all of us have to face at some point. I'm talking about grief and how to be there for someone. You know, I've realized that we're all going to lose the people that we love. And I don't say this lightly, but death is a fact of life. And every day I have at least one client telling me how they are very scared of losing their parent, or they're very scared of losing their grandparents who they're extremely close to, or how they're still dealing with the grief of losing their mom or their dad. Well, I want to tell you one thing. If anyone who is listening to this is currently a caregiver, taking care of a parent or a grandparent who is on their deathbed, every single day, maybe even multiple times in a day, go up to them and tell them that you love them. You know why? Because that's the most common thing I've heard people in my life tell me right after they lost someone that was very close to them. I wish I could say I love you to him or her one more time. That's the desire that you are left with. And that's usually how your mind, your body, your heart is telling you that you are missing this person. When my mum was on her deathbed, I remember, or rather when we found out that she doesn't have long to go, I remember telling myself that whatever time I have with her, I will tell her I love you. And this was because a couple of years ago, a very close friend had lost her father, and it had happened all too suddenly. That night when she was sleeping on my lap, I remember her waking up in tears, looking at me and saying, I wish I could tell him I love him one more time. And that stayed with me. So when it was time for my mum to go, I chose to tell her I love you multiple times in the day. And I can say very happily today that even though I miss her, and I would love to say I love you to her every single day all over again, but I don't feel that hollowness and emptiness, and I don't feel that I didn't do enough. So that's literally a pro tip that I can give you if you are at this moment watching your parent go away, or any loved one in that state. As for anyone out there whose friend, sibling, cousin, anyone is dealing with a loss and is grieving, the one thing you don't want to do, and I say this again, the one thing you don't want to do is to tell the person, don't cry, be strong. All of us just need to stop saying that. You are better off telling them, cry, I'm sitting here with you. Once you are done crying, we'll figure out what we need to do. You don't need to stop crying right now. Allow yourself to express whatever you are feeling through those tears. If you give the person that space to just go through the emotion, they are more likely to overcome the grief. They are more likely to move on in a much better manner and in a much faster way than most others who are told, don't cry, you need to be strong. The other thing that we all need to understand about being strong, just because I am crying for the loss does not mean that I am not strong. And in that moment, I don't wish to be strong. In that moment, I wish to feel the hurt and pain because I need to. This also brings me to the other thought where I constantly say that all of us need to stop being averse to feeling hurt and pain. If we are averse to it, we don't accept certain facts of life like death. It's a pain all of us have to go through. So it's better if all of us are there for each other in a constructive manner rather than being there for each other in a cliched, conventional manner which is not helping anybody. When your friend or loved one is at the funeral crying, don't tell them not to cry and to be strong for their mother or their sibling or their family. Nobody needs to be strong for anyone in that moment. Nobody needs to be strong for anyone in the days to come. Everyone needs to sit together and share their pain. That's what we all need to do. So if you have someone in your life who is grieving, be the one person around them with whom they can open up and just be whoever they need to be. And with that, I'm going to sign off today's session. I promise to bring you a happier, slightly more fun, maybe even a slightly more ranty episode next Monday. But for now, if you want to listen to any of the previous episodes, log on to IVM website or download the app. You can also connect with me on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. And if there is any topic that you want me to talk about, do let me know. But before you do that, make sure that you have listened to the previous episodes, because I'm sure whatever you are going through, there is a tool, there is a tip, there is a perspective that has been covered. So until next Monday, I hope you can be someone's space of solace.
This is the amazing story of something awesome. Once Chuck decided to start a podcast, and so he did. The end. Okay, that was a crappy story. But I've got some really cool stories over at my new show, The Origin of Things. On this podcast, I look at the stories of how brands came into being and sometimes evolved out of quite unexpected circumstances. And to make it really fun, I reveal the name of the brand and sometimes a category only at the very end. The show is 5 to 7 minutes per episode and perfect for trivia junkies and brand nerds, especially those with short attention spans. New episodes out every Wednesday on IVM Podcasts app or website, or any podcast app or site that you happen to prefer. End of story, they lived happily ever after.
Filter coffee is a fascinating beverage. You need to pick the right beans, blend them in the right proportion, roast them to perfection, and slow brew at the right temperature to get the perfect cup. Which is exactly like great conversations as well. You need to track down the most interesting minds, get them into their zone, and settle down for an unhurried, unscripted chat. And coffee for me is always, always, always best enjoyed with friends. I'm Karthik Nagarajan, and do share my table as I meet some of the most interesting people I know and sit them down for a strong cup of coffee and an even stronger conversation. Join me every Wednesday for a freshly brewed episode. This is not frappe. This is the Filter Coffee Podcast.